From the deep rumble of its engine to the unmistakable glint of chrome, Harley-Davidson isn't just a brand. It's an anthem on two wheels. It's a symbol of rebellion, freedom, and craftsmanship that's become part of the American DNA. But have you ever wondered how a Harley actually comes to life? What really happens inside those massive factories in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania where steel, fire, and soul collide? Stick around, because by the end of this episode, you'll see that every Harley-Davidson is more than just a machine. It's a heartbeat forged in metal. We'll step inside the assembly lines where American workers and robotic precision dance in unison. We'll trace the journey from raw steel to roaring legend, meet the people whose fingerprints shape every ride, and uncover secrets that even die-hard Harley fans might not know. Because behind every Harley engine lies a story about America itself. Welcome to True History in Minutes, where we uncover the fascinating stories behind the things we use every day. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications. It directly supports the growth of this channel. It all began in 1903, in a small wooden shed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Four men, William Harley and the brothers Arthur, Walter, and William Davidson. There was no corporate office, no factory floor, and definitely no marketing team, just a dream. Their goal? Build a machine that could go faster and farther than anything else on two wheels. That little shed would become the birthplace of an empire. Their first motorcycle wasn't perfect. Far from it. It could barely make it up the hills of Milwaukee. But what mattered most wasn't the speed. It was the spirit. That little machine carried something electric, an idea that Americans could ride beyond the horizon, powered by ingenuity, grit, and gasoline. Over a century later, that same dream still fuels Harley-Davidson. And today, the process of building one remains a masterclass in American craftsmanship. Every Harley begins with its heart, the engine. Workers at Harley's powertrain plant call it the soul forge. Inside, molten aluminum is poured into intricate molds, cooled, and transformed into solid blocks that will become the crankcases and cylinders. The precision here is staggering. Tolerances are measured to the thousandth of an inch. A single misalignment could destroy the engine's performance. Each engine is crafted with both science and ceremony. Robotic arms carve and mill parts with surgical accuracy, while human hands inspect, polish, and fit components together. Every bolt is torqued by feel, the kind of instinct you can't program into a machine. And then there's the sound. That legendary potato-potato rumble, deep, uneven, and primal, isn't an accident. Harley engineers intentionally tune every engine to produce that unmistakable rhythm. In fact, it was so distinct that Harley once tried to trademark the sound itself. It's not just an engine running, it's the sound of freedom, rebellion, and nostalgia all rolled into one. Even as the company adopts modern tech like fuel injection, advanced cooling, and new emission systems, the heartbeat of a Harley remains old school, mechanical, raw, alive. Once the engine is born, it needs a body, the frame. At Harley's York, Pennsylvania facility, enormous coils of high-strength steel arrive ready to be transformed. These coils are unrolled, cut, and bent into shape using a mix of robotic precision and hand-guided craftsmanship. Every weld is a signature, strong, smooth, and deliberate. The frames then undergo brutal stress tests, flexing under forces far greater than anything a real road could ever deliver. They're bent, twisted, and vibrated until engineers are absolutely sure they'll never fail. Only then does the Harley skeleton earn its name, forged for endurance, not just for beauty. Here's something few people know. Even the smallest welds carry barcodes, allowing Harley to trace every single frame back to the exact craftsman who made it. That's accountability, pride, and tradition woven right into the metal. Next comes the paint, and this is where Harley becomes art. Unlike mass-produced cars, Harley-Davidson's paint process is intensely personal. Each tank, fender, and fairing is polished and painted by human hands, layer upon layer of primer, base coat, color, and clear coat. In Harley's paint department, perfection is an obsession. Workers spend hours inspecting every surface under bright lights, searching for even the tiniest blemish. If a single speck of dust is found under the paint, the part gets stripped down and redone. There are no shortcuts. These aren't just paint jobs, they're identities. Riders know their Harley by its color, its shine, its attitude. Some of the most skilled artists in the world still hand-paint pinstripes and flames, a nod to Harley's racing heritage. And while automation handles consistency, it's still the human touch that gives every Harley its soul. Once all the parts are ready, engine, frame, wheels, and bodywork, they finally come together on the final assembly line. Imagine hundreds of workers moving in perfect rhythm, each performing a specific step in the build. The atmosphere is part orchestra, part workshop. Torque wrenches click in sync. Engines are lowered into frames with robotic cranes. Bolts are tightened to precise specifications. Every Harley is built to order, meaning your bike isn't just pulled off a shelf. It's made for you. One worker once said, "We don't just build motorcycles, we build someone's dream." You can feel it in the way they talk about their craft. Every worker sees themselves as a link in a chain stretching all the way back to that shed in 1903. When a Harley is complete, it doesn't roll out quietly. It's tested, hard. The engines are fired up on dynamometers that simulate real road conditions. Each gear, each RPM, each vibration is measured with surgical accuracy. The sound is deafening. The smell of fuel fills the air. Technicians listen, not just to check for problems, but to feel the bike's character. That's right, feel. A Harley should have personality, not just perfection. If the engine growl sounds even slightly off, the bike goes back for adjustments. Some Harleys are even test-ridden on indoor tracks, ensuring the clutch, brakes, and transmission perform flawlessly. When the test is done, the bike gets polished, inspected, and prepped for shipping. And in that moment, when the engine roars for the very first time, it's not just a test, it's a birth. Every Harley-Davidson that leaves the factory carries more than just a logo. It carries over 120 years of American history. From soldiers riding Harleys through the mud of World War II to outlaws on Route 66 to everyday riders chasing sunsets across the plains, Harley-Davidson has been there in every chapter of American life. The brand has faced bankruptcy, foreign competition, and changing times, but it's never lost its core: pride in craftsmanship and the freedom of the open road. Because a Harley-Davidson isn't just transportation, it's transformation. When you throw a leg over the seat, twist the throttle, and feel that rumble beneath you, you're not just riding a motorcycle, you're joining a brotherhood, a legacy, and a living piece of American culture. It's more than a factory, it's a forge of dreams. So the next time you hear that unmistakable roar echoing down the highway, remember, that's not just an engine, that's history. That's craftsmanship. That's American-made. And if you believe craftsmanship still matters, subscribe for more stories about the incredible things that are proudly made right here in America. Because some things aren't just made in America, they help make America what it is. Thanks for watching this episode of American Made, and we will see you in the next episode.